Good morning, my friends, or good day. I do want to do a really quick update about my blood pressure and then what is going to be going on in real time in the next week. Okay, so I still have been doing my drinks, so that has been going well. I've been really watching my sodium, but now the only difference is I went up higher in altitude. Right after my last doctor's appointment, actually it was just a blood pressure clinic that they call a clinic, but it's still at the doctor's office, but you meet with somebody who checks your blood pressure. Now they were assuming that I was already taking the blood pressure medicine, but I did tell the girl, no, I have decided not to do that. I'm going to be working on this, with diet and trying to work on it that way and really watch the mind and the mindful stress, even though we still had to do blood tests, figure out if there was anything going on that would show up in my blood tests, like high cholesterol, right? Anything that's clogging the arteries. And at that point, I'm still not sure, even if maybe that is a possibility. Because of my diet off and on hasn't been the best in the last few years. So I just said, well, I'm going to still learn what I can do on diet. I'm doing vegetables, watching my sodium. So really watching those kind of things. And I shared that drink that I've been doing too as well. Oh, and I also have been adding turmeric powder in there because it's a natural anti-inflammatory. So I got a big huge tub of it at Costco. So I'll do a whole separate video on that and more recipes and things in the future, what I'm doing with my blending, because some people wanted me to do that, so I will add that in the future. But for now, this is just the update. So shortly right after I went to the doctor, and the blood pressure was like 136 over like 80 something. And I did tell her, again, I'm not doing the meds. I understand the risk. This is my body. This is my decision. This is how I want to deal with it right now. So I unfortunately had a machine, and I had it on the table. She had this round, little stool that's on wheels, and we had that on there, and the cord is not very long, and she was making sure that I knew proper placement, everything like that. So that was a good, education visit as well, making sure I'm doing everything right. Well, I was able to show her my last reading though, and I took a picture of it that I ended up sending, to you guys in my post. Not a video, but a post. And so I had that on record, and it turned out that when we were trying to do this with the cord being short, this fell off the table and it broke, right? So I wasn't able to actually do a comparison between their machine and my machine, unfortunately, with that machine, because it did break right after the fall. So I quickly left the office and got a replacement. So I bought this at Walmart. They did replace it for me, no problems. But I haven't been able to compare my machine to their machine at this point of, checking my blood pressure. So, and about a day later, I went up to higher elevation. So I've been in higher elevation at 4,600 feet for the past week. So I've been relaxing, enjoying my, my time. I learned how to fly my drone, which was really fun and exciting. So I really felt I was in a relaxed setting other than the altitude. Well, I could not get my blood pressure to come down, and I'll be showing you some of my reading. But I'm still not going to give up. I thought, well, maybe altitude. I'm doing so well with my diet and my vegetables and everything like that. And I'll have another video later how I'm doing that in a van, okay? Because I just want to keep this one geared towards altitudes and high blood pressure. So I could, other than I had one little stressful kind of moment up there, other than that, you know, everything was really well. I'm really starting to worry about the heat and if I will have somebody with me, with whether, you know, that's going to work out on Gigi's plans and my plans, for her to be there for Milo. So I don't know, maybe all that had something to do with it, but I think so far everything's going to be okay. We're taking day by day, just because personal circumstances going on in her life, whether she will get to be here and stay, and she wasn't sure, right? So, and weather is changing. It was cooling down up there. We came down to lower elevation. So I have a lot going on in my life, and I know that's kind of hard for someone to be with me at this time in my life because of so much going on, right? So now that I've come down to lower elevation, it has come down. And even though I'm not in the best and more comfortable night setting for me, it's at a rest stop, and rest stops really honestly can be pretty stressful for me. I'm not the most comfortable in them. But even though I was here, okay, so let me show you. Okay, so my reading this morning was 113/75. Isn't that amazing? I hope this is still going. Hold on. Yep, okay. Sorry, getting close again. Okay, so 113/75, right? And that was my second reading because I did one arm. That was the second, and then my first reading was 118/84. So I thought, oh, I better make sure this is working. So I did it twice, and it did come down, but I'm in lower elevation. I'm not in a, you know, really peaceful kind of setting for me. Honestly, rest stops are probably the most stressful for me to be at. I'd rather be anywhere than rest stops. I will go to them, but I'm technically not the most comfortable and at peace, and that's why I do everything I can to avoid them while I'm traveling to point A to point B, right? So that's the good news. Now look at my readings, 145/87. This is in a peaceful setting, but in high altitudes. 151/90 was when I had a stressful moment where I was, you know, Gigi and I were trying to work out whether she would get to be with me or not for Milo, and the weather was going to be heating up again. We're cooling down and heating back up by Monday, Tuesday, towards the time of my next doctor's appointment. So I was starting to get really worried about Milo and what was going to happen with that doctor's appointment. But overall, all of my stay up there was 141/82. So look at, so I don't know, 125/81. They still consider that 80 a little bit high, so 130/76, and this is all at the high altitude. So I'm not sure if altitude could have a effect. Obviously, I know it does affect, you know, because people can have acute mountain sickness, and remember, I struggle with that in Utah. But usually it's when I'm up above almost 8,000 feet in elevation is when I really start to feel symptoms and the elephant on my chest and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I had absolutely no symptoms up at 4,600 feet when Gigi did, but I didn't. I felt completely comfortable, but yet my blood pressure was a little high and I couldn't get it down. Then I started to even wonder, well, is my machine even working right? Well, now I can tell it is, now that I've come down. So what is anybody else's thought out there? Do you have trouble? Do you ever check it? Do you have trouble when you're at high altitudes? This is something I'm definitely going to talk to the doctor about when I go back on Tuesday, because I hope to meet Kent in Utah. you know, pretty soon. And yeah, so these are things I'm going to have to figure out. I just was wondering if anybody else has noticed anything, and high blood pressure, high altitudes. I wonder if that's the point that I may have to be put on meds, and maybe I would be willing to do that if that's a huge factor of it, and then get off of it as I come down. So I don't know. I'm just, yeah, I'll discuss this Tuesday with the doctor, but also I would really love to know what anybody else knows about it, okay? And let's have a conversation about that. The other thing too is because of all of the moisture that's going on, in, you know, everywhere, and snow melt and water and everything like that, mosquitoes are coming out and they are hungry. I don't know if you can tell the difference of that hand, but I am just bit up like crazy. Can you see all that? And that's just part of my arm, and then they're all over on my back. I mean, all of everywhere, here, back, legs. I mean, I'm a mess. And I tried some natural ones, homemade ones. I can't do anything with DEET. I really can't. I try to stay away from DEET and chemicals of that form. So if anybody has a recommendation through their travels of a more natural product, that works, because most people, everybody says there is not one product out there that works. Mosquitoes were never this bad the whole couple of years I've been on the road this early in the season, honestly. Maybe right at sunset, but they were just hungry and bad. I mean, all day long. It was just, and they were hovering around me. You know, Gigi was like, oh my gosh, look at you. You know, they're just like swarming around me. So it was pretty bad. So I need some help there on, you know, again, I have a natural homemade one, a recipe. I tried that one, it didn't work. And I don't know what I did with I put the other one that I had away, that it's just not working, and it's a natural one. I think I had a natural one that did work. I'll see if I can find it. I'll be going to a Dick's sporting goods store that's out here, so I'm gonna go in there, maybe buy a bunch of products and just try to have an A, B, and C. I don't know what else to do with that, but obviously I can't keep getting bit up like this, because this is even red and swollen, and I can get like that. So any advice anybody has about those little pesky little things, I appreciate that. All right, so that's the update for now. I want to get this out in a hurry. We're traveling today. We're going to get to my storage unit. I'll see if my census is there, so I could get, you know, I'm getting to the last couple of weeks before my deadline of getting that to the passport people. I hope everything looks good with that. Then making my way back out this way, going to stay in a campground for almost a week while I take care of business, shopping, ordering things, last doctor's appointment, and I'll go over more other things that I might need to be doing to help me to be able to travel in my situation, okay? All right, so for that, that's it for now. That's the update. Thank you all for listening, for following my journey, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. All right. Oh, and I have, yeah, I'll share more later, but I have something coming in of a special interest of mine, of a hobby that I'm going to be learning to do, and I'm so excited about that. And that should be coming in this weekend. So maybe I'll be able to pick that up real soon on my way back to my new hometown area. It's being shipped over there. So I've got, yeah, lots of cool things happening as well as I'm getting ready to hit the road again. All right, so I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. And thanks again for following my journey.